Today we're gonna do a GTA 5 what if requested by one of you guys, and that is of course what if Michael killed Franklin in the mission complications. So let's go ahead and do it. So as we know in the original, Michael shows up while Franklin is taking Jimmy's car to Simeon's dealership and threatens to kill him. However, in this version, Michael would, without much thought, just like he said, put 2 rounds in the back of Franklin's head right outside of Premium Deluxe Motors. And still to prove his point, he would ram through Simeon's window and tell him that he killed Franklin. As a threat, just like in the original, he would also beat the shit out of Simeon. So how would this affect the missions leading up to Trevor's introduction first? Well, pretty much the same, aside from when Michael pulls down Madrazo's house. Of course, he would be alone. In this version, without Franklin there to inform Michael on who Madrazo was, Michael would be a bit more arrogant during that confrontation at his house, and instead of just hitting Michael with the baseball bat, Madrazo would beat the shit out of Michael, and this would send Michael to the hospital. But as soon as he gets out, he knows that he has to pay Martin off, so he would waste absolutely no time in getting in touch with Lester and doing the jewel store job. After the heist, Trevor would, just like in the original, find out that Michael is still alive and would make his way to reunite with his best friend. The next few missions would largely remain the same, but Michael and Trevor would have a lot of a harder time, specifically during the missions Three's Company and Blitzplay. Also, this is a good time to mention that Trevor would never meet Lamar. Speaking of Lamar, he would actually get killed during the Hood Safari mission because he would make the mistake of going to Grove Street on his own, and before he would even figure out what's going on, he would be shot and killed in the middle of Grove Street. As for Michael and Trevor, they would still do the Merryweather heist, and it would still be a whole shit show without any payoff, but I guess they would have to plan it a bit differently considering that there's just the 2 of them, and they'd still have to work for the FIB, so that wouldn't change at all. On a side note, I was thinking about changing the mission where Michael and Trevor shoot down that plane for Martin Madrazo, but I figured that it was a little bit of a far-fetch, and it's a bit too far in my opinion from the general story of the game, so that remains unchanged. So Trevor still rips out Martin's ear, kidnaps Patricia, and him and Michael have to go into hiding for a brief amount of time. What would change, however, is the Predator mission. Michael and Trevor would manage to take out all of the O'Neill brothers, aside from one, the main one, Elwood O'Neill. And while Trevor would not be particularly worried, that is something that he's gonna have to worry about later. As for Michael's family situation, well, it would be the same as in the original, just like his deal with Solomon Richards, and we'll get to his fallout with Devin Weston a little bit later. At first, we gotta look at the Polito score, and that would be even more rough than in the original. They would have to take 2 gunmen with them on the heist, but both of them would be killed, and Michael and Trevor would just barely make it out of there alive. As for the mission Derailed, this would go down just like in the original, but I imagine that Trevor would probably, as payback, give Martin a similar beating to the one he gave Michael in the beginning of the game. Also, real quick before we continue, please do leave a like on this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're enjoying my content. Also, make sure to share this video with your friends or anyone you know that might enjoy this video. However, the shitstorm is just about to start, as Michael and Trevor would still have that fight in North Yankton, and Michael would still be kidnapped by the Chinese gangsters. But in this version, Franklin's not there to save him, and Michael would be killed by the Chinese gangsters in the mission Fresh Meat. As for Trevor, him and Lester would, after this, not stay in touch, and the big one would never happen, and Lester, who is now a lot more scared of Trevor, would keep his distance from him, understandably so. Trevor would, however, now be pretty much on his own, and as soon as he would start feeling the weight of killing his best friend, or not directly killing him, but getting him killed by the Chinese, or maybe he wouldn't even feel the weight necessarily for Michael, but more for his family, who would also likely assume that Trevor had something to do with Michael's death, and would choose to leave Los Santos for good in fear that one day Trevor would knock on their door. And as for Trevor, well, he's just getting in the shitter right now, as he would one day receive a call from Elwood O'Neill, the last of the O'Neill brothers, who would sound very angry over the phone and tell him that he wants to settle their business once and for all. Before I continue, keep in mind that just like in the original, Steve Haynes in this version wanted Trevor dead too, but Trevor would, not knowing what's going on, meet with Elwood O'Neill at the McKenzie airfield, expecting to just get there and kill Elwood just like he killed his brothers beforehand. But seemingly out of nowhere, an FIB hit squad consisting of upwards of 30 the heavily armed FIB agents would jump out of various hiding spots nearby, and within a matter of seconds, Trevor would be no more. So in the end, the only one who made it out of this reality is Lester. And as for Solomon Richards, well, Devin Weston would, after confirming Michael's death, go through with his plan and tear down Richards' Majestic. So I think that it's very safe to say that Michael not killing Franklin in the very beginning was one of the best decisions he could have made. And with that said, I want to thank you for watching this GTA 5 What If. Leave a like on the video again and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure to share this video with anyone that might find it interesting. Leave your requests for what ifs down in the comments. Leave your thoughts on this what if, and until the next video stream, bye bye.